A man who wears the 10 pounds of gold.
The nature boy, Ric Flair.
You know, I always like to take this opportunity to talk about myself.
The 16-time heavyweight champion has arrived.
I've got the style and profile like never before.
The greatest talker in the history of the business is behind the mic once again.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine like, jet flying, son of a gun. Woo!
This is Wooooo Nation with Ric Flair.
I'm the man. Ric Flair.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ric Flair, 16 times your world champion and the host of Wooooo Nation, along with my co-host, the legendary billionaire.
Oh, my gosh.
Second in income only to the legendary Dr. Jim Andrews in the state of Alabama. A home that sometimes serves as an estate, sometimes serves as an orphanage, and many times it serves as a version of the Mustang Ranch.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Conrad Thompson, the entrepreneur, the millionaire, the 34-year-old millionaire with too much time on his hands, and all he wants to do is do a podcast with Ric Flair. And today, Conrad, I brought the Big Daddy, man. We've been talking to him for a couple months about doing this, but I've got the Big Daddy, the crossover star. I mean, we'll talk about all his accolades and everything he's accomplished in life. But ladies and gentlemen, today, a great wrestling fan, a great friend that I met in 1986, and we have been together ever since. And we can talk about some of that, some of what we can't, because I'm divorced, but he's still married. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Darius Rucker. Darius, how are you, young man?
I'm good, Rick. How you doing, man?
I'm great. So glad to have you on the show. I'm thanking Mike. He sent me your schedule, man. I can't miss you when you come around.
Oh, you never do, man. You never do. That's one thing I always know when I'm in Atlanta or Charlotte, that the Nature Boy is going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I know that. You know I do.
Yeah. Yeah, we missed each other in North Charleston for Raw about 2 months ago, but Stephanie McMahon was on the alert for Darius Rucker. And I said, well, I happen to know him, Stephanie.
I want to make that so bad. You know, I love coming to the live shows, and they're always so exciting and so much fun. But, you know, I was doing that charity event and couldn't get down to make it. But, I'm glad. I'm sorry I missed you guys too. I would have loved to have met that.
Well, when I showed her your text, you said, I'm dying to meet her. She was very flattered. So she's hot, man. She's married to one of my best friends, so I can't say too much about her, but she's on fire, and she's a great talent, and she's her dad, but she's a woman. She's tough as hell, but what a great person and a great personality on TV. So anyway,
oh, yeah, she's great. She's great on television. She's great. You know, everything about it. You know, it's great to see another McMahon take the torch and take it to a whole new level. You know. Oh,
she will. I mean, you know, everybody was concerned, you know, that someday Vince won't be healthy enough to do this. I don't know if that'll ever change, but if it does happen, she'll be in charge. She and Hunter have got a great grasp of the business, and Vince, man, he keeps them so close and so tight. He doesn't delegate much authority, so you know that they're yeah.
And you know Vince will outlive all of us.
A big pardon?
You know.
I say it again. I'm sorry.
I said, you know that Vince is going to outlive all of us.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of it. God, I mean, every day. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to freeze him like Encino Man. He's never really going away. I mean,
yeah,
he's
I don't
70
think
and
so
he
either.
looks 50.
People are trying to figure that out, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. He has no problem chewing somebody out just like he used to 30 years ago, man. Good Lord.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
Rick,
sure.
You mentioned a minute ago, Rick, that you guys met in '86. That's a lot sooner or a lot longer than I would have imagined you guys knew each other. How did y'all first meet, Darius?
Mike Campbell.
Oh, Rick was, yeah. Mike Campbell, who was the governor's son, was friends with Rick, and with some of the guys would hang out. And, you know, we heard that they're going to be heading up there, and Mike was going to be there. And Mike was a friend of mine, and he introduced me to Rick. We've been friends ever since.
Yeah, no. What happened is I brought Charlotte down to your concert in the park that night. The first time that we met, Mike Campbell asked me to come down, and it was at that time you were with Hootie and the group, and you had an outdoor concert. Do you remember that?
Oh yes, I do remember that. We were having just a little show in the park. Yeah.
That was the first time, and ever since then, I mean, we've been pals, and then the big night for me, of course, which really separated me from a lot of people in the wrestling business, was at the Jimmy V in 1989 when I had one of my ex-wives with me. And you had your ex-wife with you, and you bought one of my robes for like $30,000. And Jordan was there, Barkley was there. I mean, that's when the Jimmy V was really a party, man. Good Lord.
That was a party. I remember when they said, that was an auction item, and I said to the guys, I don't care what it costs me, I'm getting this thing. And it just kept going up. But I still got it. I was looking at it probably 2 days ago. I still got it.
Yeah, when I heard you got divorced, I said, I hope he's not like his wife, like my other wives, didn't take all his stuff and take my robe. They said no, he still got it.
No. The robe, I still got it. I'll always have that robe, man. It's the centerpiece of my sports memorabilia collection. I love that thing, man. I'm so proud to have it.
Well, thank you. A lot of my ex-wives all seem to think they belong to them, like they wore them, and they take them with them as they leave, and then then Conrad buys them off of eBay. Well, listen. So I have to go on record as saying, because not only because of our friendship, but just the level of respect that you command. This thing that you have, and it's coming up soon again. It seems like it comes around every the Monday after the Masters fundraiser. And correct me if I'm wrong. It's for underprivileged youth people in the state of South Carolina. Correct?
Well, that's what we call. That's our main. That's the main emphasis of the Hootie The Blowfish Foundation. Is trying to help kids with education all over the state of South Carolina, but also all over the country.
Yeah,
we've been doing it for 22 years now, man, and I think you've been there for 20 of them or something like that.
I've been there for a lot of them. I tell you what, I've been there for a lot of them. I tell Conrad, because I tried to get Conrad to go last year, and he went, I don't know, man. It is the damnedest party. If I'm saying this, that it's being laid down the line. It is the greatest 3-day party.
I was about to say that. When Rick Flair saying it's a party,
it's the greatest 3-day party I've ever been to in my life. And everybody hopes, and I hope I'm not saying this with any, I hope I'm saying the right thing. Everybody hopes that Darius will drink on Saturday and sing Saturday. They know he'll drink on Sunday and sing Sunday, and he has to sing Monday. That's part of the gig. But it's the hardest ticket in the world to get. I mean, I just talked to Alexis the other day, because I managed an Ashley. I hope I can come, but I have to work, but I'm going to come Monday. But Conrad, I swear to God, the House of Blues, it is unbelievable. And they have so many sponsors. They're not serving... they're serving Kettle One and your Crown Royal that you like, Conrad. I mean, they're not serving, 3-2 beer, brother. It's and the buffet, the food. Oh, and if you're a single guy, the women, holy cow. I mean, not that I noticed, but
the best part of all this is this is the charity event.
I brought Wendy down there one time, and she said, I don't like this place.
We raise a lot of money for the kids. We do.
Hey, Conrad, they put you up in a 3-bedroom suite across the street, right? Are you kidding me? Next to Ruth Chris? I mean, 3-bedroom suite. I mean, it's the greatest gig of all time. And everything's free. Nobody asked for anything. The silent auction is huge. There's stuff. Of
course you got a 3-bedroom suite. You're the greatest wrestler of all time.
What's that?
You deserve a suite, that 3-bedroom suite.
No, one time you put me down to a 2-bedroom. I had to complain. The 3-bedroom is awesome. But there's always victims, and there's these 5 girls. Darius will know who they are. These 5 girls from Columbus, Ohio, that come every year. They just leave their husbands and get in their car and drive down there. They're at the pool drinking. They come in on Thursday. They really get a head start. You know what I'm talking about, right?
That's an amazing thing for us. That's
and they park me on the 4th hole.
On Thursday, and that's pretty cool to know they're having that much fun.
They leave their husbands. I mean, they all have money. They're all successful in their lives, and they just roll down to Darius's for the weekend, and then they go somewhere else for another 5 days. But it's the most glorious party of all time. I mean, it's phenomenal.
It's fun. I will definitely say that, and we raise a lot of money for charity. That's important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying but I don't think, and the reason I'm emphasizing this, the magnitude. I swear to God, to get a pass, I mean, the first couple of days are easy because it's real casual, but Sunday and Monday, getting a pass, because everybody watches the last round of the Masters, and then the party starts like at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 6, whatever, at the House of Blues on Sunday, and then the next day you got to get up and do it again, and Darius parks me next to the Jack Daniels, and between the Jack Daniels and the Budweiser tent to sign autographs. That's all I do. I stand there, sign autographs, and go woo, Conrad, and drink all day long.
That's a good time, man.
Once in a while, I stumble over to the Hooter tent.
Exactly.
Hey, Conrad is right up your alley, buddy. So go ahead and ask away. Conrad's a big fan.
Well, one of the things I was really excited to talk to you about, Darius, is I've actually seen some of Mike Mooneyham's columns, and I didn't realize that you grew up a big Mid-Atlantic wrestling fan. Can you tell us a little bit about your favorite memories as a Mid-Atlantic fan?
Oh, good. I have too many memories. I was just sitting around talking the other day with my buddies here on the bus. We were at a show. We were talking about wrestling. I got great memories from, Gene Anderson beating up Tiger Conway and Steve Kern. Ric Flair putting Ricky Steamboat over with the World Television Championship and talking about the greatest feuds of all time. I remember, goodness gracious, Dusty Rhodes and Big Murdoch coming to town and a rough shot. For me, I still read that website, that midatlantic.com, just to bring back all the memories I had watching wrestling back in the day. And I say this all the time, that if my grandmother was alive, she would be so mad at me because I'm friends with Ric Flair, and the one thing she always said, even when Ric turned babyface, the one thing my grandmother always said, you can't trust that Ric Flair. That's amazing. I love it.
Hey, I'll tell you something else, and as I'm listening to the conversation, I'm thinking, as we lost 2 soldiers this year, and Darius and I have talked about it, but 10 minutes after Hunter called me to tell me about Dusty, Darius texted me and said, say it's not so. So, I
couldn't believe it.
Yeah. No, either could we. We were all in shock.
For me, I finally, I had a radio buddy of mine about 10 years ago, and he's down in Florida, and we were sitting around having a beer, and we were talking about all the things we've done in life, and I said, one of the things I haven't done, which I'm dying to do, is I'm dying to meet Dusty Rhodes, because I spent 2 years of my life trying to beat Dusty Rhodes, talking like that, and I'm such a huge fan, and one day at a show, he walked into my bus with Dusty Rhodes, and Jim and I became friends, and we would text buddies, and we'd be at the same time, we'd say and see each other, and, it was shocking that, someone who really was that important to me. That's the one thing I try to explain to somebody. When I was growing up a kid with no dad, you look for role models, you look for people to look up to. And for me as a kid, Dusty Rhodes was one of those people. He was always a good guy. He was always like Dusty, didn't care about color, didn't care about anything, he cared about going out there and, doing his job. And when he passed away, it was just awful for me for a minute. It was awful. I was just like, wow. I really got to know him yet, and now he's gone. It was very sad.
Yeah, it was a huge void for all of us. I had just been with him on Monday, and I was headed to see LeBron play at Cleveland, and he was so mad that I got invited to the Cleveland Cavalier game because he likes LeBron, and just like I do. But we spent the day together and had a nice time, and I guess he went in the hospital on Tuesday because I guess I saw him Tuesday because I was on my way to see LeBron on a Thursday night, and he and I had just texted you earlier, about 3 months earlier together from Orlando when we were at NXT. Do you remember that? We were playing.
I remember, totally. I mean, stuff like that I never forget. For a kid like me from South Carolina, and my phone beeps and I look down, it's a text from the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. You don't forget that. Yeah. I mean, of course I remember that.
Yeah, well, we it's funny because we both are mellowed, but we kind of felt that way about ourselves in our youth. Yeah, the Dream and I were pretty high on ourselves.
And the thing for me is looking back on it, you should have been. I mean,
well, we had a lot of fun.
I look back to those days when I was that kid that went into the grocery store with my mom because I knew she was going to be an hour and a half, and I could sit down and read every wrestling magazine they had, and find out what's going on, and all that stuff. Looking at the sport that I have over the years, I mean, to do what you and Rick, Dusty and Hunter and other guys have done in the sport, you got to be. You have to have an ego. It's like people thinking, I'm a nice guy, and I'm humble, and I'm proud of what I do, and I thank God for all the great stuff He's given me. But, if you don't think I think I'm good, you're an idiot. Of course I do. I wouldn't do it. And so being full of yourself, I think, is part of being great sometimes. A lot of times, most of the time.
You know what I was thinking to myself the other day? When did shaving get so incredibly expensive? I was paying a fortune for store-bought razors until friends at Harry's sent me some of their blades. I got the best shave I've had in a long time. Harry's blades are super sharp and provide a close, comfortable shave. I was in the drugstore the other day walking down the razor aisle and had to stop and smile because I don't have to wait for someone to unlock the glass case. I don't have to pay those astronomical prices anymore. German-engineered 5-blade cartridges, close, comfortable shave, no cuts or burn, quality guaranteed, full refund, factory direct prices, cut out the middleman, ships right to your door, sell their blades at 1/2 the price of the leading brand. Over 1 million guys have already made the switch. Thousands more switch every day. Why pay $32 for an 8-pack of blades when you can get them for 1/2 the price at Harry's.com? The Harry's Starter Set is an amazing deal. For just $15, you get a razor, moisturizing shave cream, and 3 razor blades. Harry's prices are already really low, but we've worked out a special offer for guys. Harry will give you $5 off your first order with promo code FLAIR. Stop overpaying for a great shave and start the new year off right. Go to Harry's.com right now. That's Harry's.com. Enter code FLAIR at checkout. Woo! That's HARRYS.com. Enter code FLAIR at checkout. Woo!
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Look for us online at play.it.
Well, no, I'm just saying that one of the things, we had so much fun. Back then, it wasn't even like going to work. We couldn't wait to go to work because we were sold out, and Dusty and I had great chemistry, and then along came Sting and the Road Warriors and Arn and Tully and the Four Horsemen against Dusty and any variation of
the
people.
Greatest. Anybody says, you go and you see all these, the greatest this, the greatest that, the greatest this, and it's one of the 3 greatest feuds of all time is not the Four Horsemen against Dusty Rhodes. What it is? That was legendary. Man, I watched that stuff on the edge of my seat. Man, Rick, when you guys beat him up in the parking lot,
yeah.
Man, you were talking about the biggest Dusty Rhodes fan in the world, and you guys beat him up in the parking lot. Genius. I mean, that whole run, that whole Horseman Dusty Rhodes run was great.
Yeah.
And it all started, for me, the whole thing started in 1980 when Ole Anderson and Dusty Rhodes did that thing with the Assassins.
Yeah.
And the Omni, and then Ole turned on Dusty with the Assassins and the Omni. That was the beginning of the Horsemen for me, because like soon after that is when people realized this is going to work. And those four guys, the original Horsemen, I mean, I have so much respect and love for Vince McMahon, but the fact that Ole Anderson is not in the Hall of Fame as the original Horseman is unbelievable. But that's conversation for another time. But that original lineup was unbelievable. Yeah,
well, there's a personal reason behind that, just because. Which is not a secret to anybody, but Ole was when they were negotiating with Barnett, Vince and Jim Barnett, who owned Georgia Championship Wrestling. Ole was really harsh verbally and said some inappropriate things to Vince because he was mad that Barnett was selling, which was fine, but it was Barnett's decision. But that's the reason behind all that. It's nothing.
Well, I understand.
It was nothing.
That totally makes sense. That doesn't surprise me about Ole either.
No. I mean, he just, it upset everybody. It was like, holy cow, Vince is buying Atlanta TV. Wow. I mean, everybody was upset. I mean, I wasn't upset because I didn't think about, at that point in my career, I wasn't thinking about, what was going to happen 10 years on the road. But then we got it back and we kept rolling and things were, and Ole just, his kids were getting older. He wanted to spend more time with his family, so it worked out. And when Barry Windham came in, I mean, I think Barry Windham is one of the top 20 of all time, and he.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah,
he was great.
Yeah,
I agree.
Ole had the interview, but Barry could really perform.
Oh, absolutely. I could tell you one thing. I just wanted to when I said I was doing this podcast, I was so happy because about 2 months ago. I always go online and I watch old matches. I watch you and Dusty, and I watch, the other day I watched that Dusty Rhodes and Ernie Ladd in Florida, and it was just crazy. And, I watch a lot of stuff. And so the other day I'm online and I go and I Google top 50 wrestlers of all time. Okay, and so I'm looking at these four lists that I'm looking at. And first of all, when I looked at the third list, I stopped when they had you at number 21. That guy's on crack. Exactly. I was like, this guy crack. But the one
who had me at number 21?
List I looked at.
Who had me at number 21?
How could you ever listen to the top 50 of all time and not have Nick Bockwinkel on your list?
Wow.
Nick Bockwinkel was number 1 and I was number 21?
I just had Nick Bockwinkel on him. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, the guy is high. You kidding me? I love Nick Bockwinkel. God rest his soul.
Nick's one of the greatest of all time. I mean, and that's the one thing I love so much about the internet is getting to go back and watch guys like Nick. Man, what a worker. Man, how could you not have top 50 without Nick Bockwinkel?
Oh, that guy's high, like you said.
So Darius, would you have had access to the AWA TV, or did you only know him from the magazines at the time?
Oh, we got every now and then. You know how every now and then you get this for a season. You get this wrestling program. So I think once or twice we got an AWA program, and then the greatest thing for me was when ESPN started showing those AWA matches, and I could see the Gallagher brothers, and Nick Bockwinkel, and Killer Rashawn, and all those. Yeah, that was awesome for me to actually finally see those guys on TV instead of seeing them at the magazine.
Yeah, well, Nick was a great performer, and I tell you, with the exception of Arn and Tully, Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens with Bobby Heenan in their corner was it, man, when I was growing up. Holy cow.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. Because Bobby, if Bobby worked full-time, he would have been one of the top guys in the business. But every time he got in the ring, man, he was bleeding and flying around the ring. He added so much excitement. And Ray Stevens, to my estimation, I tell everybody this forever, and a lot of people haven't seen him, but to me, Ray, to this day, is the greatest I've ever seen. Ray was a working fool, boy. And I saw him a little bit later on in life. I mean, he was like in his mid-40s when I first saw him, but boy, could Ray work. Holy cow. Upside down, inside out. I mean, I got that from him, and then Sean got it. But nobody could do it like Ray Stevens. He went over the top turnbuckle, posted himself. He was unbelievable.
Well, I mean, the names, names like Ray Stevens, get to see those guys when I was a kid. Hey, Rick, you remember one of my favorite feuds of all time? You and Buddy Rogers back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that funny?
It was awesome.
Our two 6-minute matches.
He couldn't go more than 6, but they were good for those 6, man.
Yeah, he walked. The first time I met him, he walked into Greensboro, right? Tan, dressed to kill, world-class jewelry on, and he walked up to me and he goes, "Hey, kid, there's only one diamond in this business, and you're looking at him." What did I do to piss him off? Hello, my name's Ric Flair. There's only one diamond in this business, kid, and you're looking at him. It ain't you.
Love it. I love it.
He was great, yeah, Buddy, but boy, he died. Buddy didn't have a lot of friends, man. He was hard to do business with. Not with me, but I mean, in his time, I mean, he only worked with people, which I don't know a lot of people know this. He handpicked the people he'd work with. That was it. He didn't trust anybody. And he had a couple of guys that he traveled around with. And, of course, then he wrestled guys like O'Connor and Thez and people like that. But they had a very solid arrangement long before they went in the ring because Buddy wasn't tough, but Buddy was the ultimate showman and way ahead of his time for that time period. So, and what a great look, too. Unbelievable.
Great look. Great look.
Yeah.
Former world champion, man. Love it.
So,
I would have meant something to be world champion.
Hey, Darius, do you have the network?
You know what?
Do you have the WWE network?
And I'm mad at myself because I've been telling myself for 2 years get the WWE work, but I still get so many great matches on YouTube, and I was like, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it right after we get off this podcast.
Oh, you can see me all day long if you get that. We can talk all the time. Well, Conrad, go ahead. I know you got 1,000 questions for him.
So, Darius, I'm super impressed by your wrestling knowledge. So I want to kind of quiz you a little bit. You obviously grew up a big Mid-Atlantic fan. Did you get to any shows? Do you remember going to any shows?
Oh, yeah, I went to see, I remember going to Charleston County Hall was where we went. And I remember seeing the Anderson brothers against Steve Kerr and Tiger Conway Jr. I saw Rick and Steamboat in there. I saw the Briscoe brothers versus the Minnesota Wrecking Crew in there.
Wow!
And that was our spot, man. And the thing for me is every time I mention the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, everybody wants to talk about this and that. And you get all those northern guys talking about Marty Jannetty and all those tag teams. Early and Gene Anderson invented tag team wrestling. I remember watching them, and they always did something that nobody else did, and they were one of the greatest heels of all time because there was no love for the Anderson brothers, and they didn't want you to have anything for them. I was a big fan of those guys. Yeah,
well, the thing is, Ole and Gene convinced everybody because they were tough. You know what I mean? And Gene was really tough. Ole, I'm not sure about, but. They just, that they were our blue collar world champions, and they were tough, and they convinced it, and their style of grabbing a hold and all that was, it wouldn't work now, but it worked back then, and all those matches with Paul Jones and Wooooo, those hour-long matches, and then 90 minutes.
The big difference for me is that back then everybody was who they were.
Yeah.
You were I've been around you. You were a nature boy. I mean, Wooooo was Wooooo. Those guys were being who they were, and now, you have a character, and it can change at any time. And it's the action right now is unbelievable. Like I watched SmackDown the other night, and I was like, man, this is just crazy the things these guys will do, and how high flying, and it's great, and it's awesome to watch. But I'm still that old school guy that misses. Yeah. I miss you. I miss you feuding with Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. and Dick Slater. Some little theater chasing them, and your black vest and your white shirt and your neck brace on. That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was a nature woman. I'm not sure how that worked out for me in the marital department. But as Darius knows, pretty much anything I said I was doing.
That's something I'll do. That's something I would say to anybody. Rick said he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Yeah. And the Marriott Hotel tonight, 18 to 28. No boyfriends, no husbands. See you there. Why'd you say that? I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Like you remember the promo where I think it was might have been Starcade, where you won and all the horses in the back there, and you told everybody what hotel you guys were staying at. I just thought that was awesome.
I told them what?
It was Starcade in one of the big matches, and they're ending up the pay-per-view at the TV, and Rick's doing this interview, and at the end of the interview, he says what hotel they're staying at.
Oh, yeah, that was the Marriott in Baltimore.
And girls 18 to 28.
No boyfriend.
That was the Crockett Cup in Baltimore.
That was awesome.
Everybody, Tully and Arn are looking at me, why'd you say that? I said, I don't know. It sounded good. But I'll tell you what, it worked. Because everybody was leaving their boyfriend and her just to come upstairs in a suite.
I'm sure
Take a tour and put the robe on, honey. Huh? Okay, Conrad, your turn, man. Take a whack at it because I got a lot of questions to ask him.
Well, let's do it, man. So, Darius, you were talking a little bit earlier about the MidAtlanticGateway.com, which is the website you go to. And when I logged on during our show, they're running a story about the Anderson brothers. And one of the things I want to talk about with you, Rick, that I don't think a lot of people remember, is when you first were introduced with them, it was said, Rick, that you were a cousin of the Andersons. How did that come about?
Because I was from Minnesota, and they were the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. So it was actually a great rub for me to come in as their cousins, and then it's great, and then we traveled together a lot, and I got to know them real well. And the funny thing is that I went to high school. She was 3 years older than me with Ole's wife in Minneapolis.
Wow.
Yeah, so Ole's wife, Sue Crowder. So we and her brother and I were real close friends. So, and then Gene was just just irritable. Gene, South St. Paul. But he was just irritable old Gene, He was, God, it's terrible. I mean, you have no idea, Darius. I've shared this with Conrad, but, when these guys wanted to come break in the business and they'd come down and the guys thought they were half tough in the old days, right? And Ole and Gene would say, you're driving a truck or whatever you're doing, you're out there pounding fence and you think you're tough. Come on down and we'll work you out. Boy, and the guys came all the time. Boy, they would have them run stadium steps like at the old cricket arena, right? and push-ups and all that. Then get them in a ring and beat the shit out of them. I mean, beat the shit out of them. Oh, man. Hey, you remember Cyclone Negro? You remember that name?
Do.
Yeah, Cyclone Negro got jumped on by these two black guys coming out of the ring in Florence one night, right? And they beat up. And Cyclone was a tough kid, but two guys. I mean, I didn't see it. I wasn't there that night, but they brought those kids down, and they wanted to be wrestlers. They brought them in down to the night before or the afternoon before a show where the ring was already set up at the old Charlotte Coliseum Cricket Arena now, and they beat the crap out of those two guys. I don't know if they've ever been heard from since. And then another time, you'll love this, Darius. A guy walks into they walked into the office, one on Carmel Road, the bigger one that Crockett bought when he moved off South Boulevard, and it had that big facility in the back, and a guy walks in with his dad one day wearing a mask for a tryout. So So Gene said, take the mask off. I can't do that. I don't want anybody to know who I am. Oh, Jesus Christ. Gene said, hey, Gene's puffing on that Pall Mall, and I'm going to tell you one more time, you can take that mask off. No, and his dad was going, no, we don't want anybody to know his identity. Oh, boy. He's never been heard. He's never been heard from since either. You should see what they did to Magnum TA. Magnum, was a good amateur wrestler, but he came down for that tryout and went in there, and he was walking across the parking lot bleeding like hell. And he said, "Oh, God, Ric Flair, I'm dying. Wanted to meet me and all that." I said, "How'd the workout go?" He goes, "It's not good." But he came back, that was the thing. But it was merciful back then. It was nobody. It's not like NXT where they dance around. They found out right away what you had going in the gas tank, man. Jesus. Oh. So, anyway, Conrad, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Rick, were you there with the night Ole got cut? There's a story about a fan jumping and cutting him all the way across his chest. What was the story on that?
106 stitches. And they arrested Ole and put him in jail. Because he hit the guy, and the guy had a heart attack and fell down. The guy lived. He was 69 years old. And the guy reached in and stabbed Ole. It went from his neck all the way down to his abdomen. And 106 stitches. But they arrested Ole after he got out of the hospital and put him in jail because the guy had a heart attack. Too much. I mean, he eventually beat it, but I mean, it's crazy back then. I mean, guys, it was so wild. In Asheville one day, a guy threw a rattlesnake in the ring.
Oh my!
He ran up.
Goodness.
He ran up to the ring. Had a bag, right? Like he's carrying it in a bag, right? And threw the bag open, and a rattlesnake rolled out. Yeah. They believed in wrestling.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, we believed it. We believed it. Of course, we believed in it.
Yeah. By the way, Charleston County Hall was no picnic either, man, aside from being 130 degrees. God dang.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good times in there, man. Good times in there.
Oh, yeah.
Darius, we've spent a lot of time talking about the Anderson brothers. One of the friends of the show, Ricky Morton, was on recently, and we talked a little bit about the Rock and Roll Express and how we don't think currently they get their just due. What were your memories of the Rock and Roll Express?
Oh, I agree. I mean, I agree. There's I think that's something that you guys should do a whole podcast on, guys that were great and should be remembered that people just don't talk about. And the Rock and Roll Express was one. They were the little guys who went out and performed every night. And the one thing, knowing what I know about wrestling now and looking back on those days, the guys who made you believe it when they lost. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that I remember as the greats.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to win and be excited and everything, but the guys who lost and you believe that that was the end of the world for them, and they lost, and they gave everything they had. And the Rock and Roll Express, they were great when they were champions, but when they were chasing the belt is when they were at their best, man. I mean, I remember those Midnight Express matches. I remember, those matches with the Koloffs, I mean, just great workers, great performers, great wrestlers that I agree don't get the credit they deserve today.
Yeah, Ricky Morton is still working, and as is Robert. They're still out there on the road, man. So I mean,
love it.
I see Ricky all the time. He's as entertaining now as he was all those years ago. My God. I mean, he just same thing. We had a lot of fun with those guys.
That's one thing I want to do with you one time. Like, I want to go to one of those big reunions that you decide you're going to go to. I just want to go and just listen.
I'll tell you what I want you to do.
That'd be amazing for me.
I want you to do me a huge favor. Can I ask?
Absolutely. You can always ask.
I want you to commit to coming to WrestleMania with me as my guest.
When is it? I would love to. If I don't have a show booked, I'm there.
Okay, it's April 3rd, Sunday, April 3rd. But I want you to come in Monday for the Hall of Fame, because I'm inducting somebody. Conrad will be there, and the guys would be thrilled. And you come as my guest, everything paid for.
I mean, you don't have to go that far. Just ask me to come, and I'm there, man.
No. I want you to come as my guest for all you've done.
I want to go to WrestleMania. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
You've never been to WrestleMania before?
No.
Never been there.
Yeah, you got to. Wow. It's in Dallas, and you know what that means, right? I mean, it's just a wonderful town. Everything's going to go down. I've already got an extra room booked because I had planned on asking you this a couple weeks ago when we were talking in Charleston.
Yeah.
And the whole company's staying at the Fairmont. Conrad will tell you it's the best party in the world. It's not Monday after the Masters, but it's not bad.
I'm there. It's over. I'm there. April 3rd. I'm there. The Hall of Fame, and I'm there for
the Hall of Fame is on the 2nd. Yeah, come in on Friday on the 1st, and we'll
absolutely. I'll be there.
Okay, good deal. I'm gonna mark that down, and we'll have the greatest time, and the company, of course, will be so honored to have you there. And I'll be honored to walk you around and introduce you to all these guys. It'll just be thrilled to know you. Okay. You just can't run off.
Thank you very much. Done deal, man. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You can't run off with Stephanie McMahon. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm happy where I am.
Well, I know that. We're all happy where we are at the moment.
but I am a big Stephanie McMahon fan. I will admit that, yes.
I told her she was so thrilled because she waited around when you were doing that charity next door because she was flying out that night. Their private jets are everywhere every 10 minutes. And she waited another hour and a half, and I said, he just must be stuck over there. And then we miscommunicated. Yeah. But she is she's a huge fan of yours, so it'll make me look real good when I walk in the door with you and go. Hey, yeah. By the way, Stephanie, here is your friend. He's my guest, not yours.
Yeah, he's so funny, Conrad. He says that. Have you ever been in a room and watched Rick walk into that room?
It takes over.
There's only one person that's even close to it. He's not even close. It's like 20 steps below with Tommy Armour III. It walks in a room really cool. But Rick walks in the room, and it's his room. It's unbelievable. I don't care how big of a star is there. Rick walks in, and it's Rick's room, and I love it. I look at you sometimes and I go, man, that's my friend right there. That's pretty cool.
You're just saying that because I have so much fun at your parties. Hey, last year,
Rick, you have fun everywhere, Rick.
That's what I was going to say. I've never been anywhere with Rick when he didn't have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Conrad, last year, Bruce Smith says to me, I'm going home. I said, bullshit. He said, I'm going home. Well, the last thing I saw was Melinda, Darius, Bruce Smith, Bruce's partner, and somebody else, and Bruce had bought like 5 bottles of wine. And you guys went backstage. Do you remember that, Darius?
He bought the Camus, yes, I remember
the Camus, yeah. I went back to the hotel. I said, screw this, man. What happens, Conrad, you get there, and in the morning, I'm sitting there with Michael Waltrip. Here's how my morning started. 7 o'clock with Michael Waltrip. I get the guys tee off and play all day, right? Bloody Marys with Michael Waltrip. Then in walks... who's the golfer we like so well that comes to all your tournaments?
John Daly?
Not John Daly. No, I see John. No,
Mickelson.
Shoot, he's a top 10 player. Huh?
Jim Furyk?
Jim Furyk, yeah. Jim Furyk comes in, and then Jim's drinking screwdrivers, oranges. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, right? And Conrad, I mean, it's your kind of a day. And that country club, and the booze is free. You can't pay for it. I mean, it's insanity. And they got 300 people. Everybody's running around. It's insanity. And it goes like that, Conrad, for 2.5 solid days. It's insanity at the Day Country Club. And it's just unbelievable. But Bruce goes, I'm going. I said, bullshit, you're not going home this time. And sure enough, I haven't talked to him since, but I know that he didn't make that plane that night. So you guys
we broke up the cameras. We had a couple drinks.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I said, everybody hopes that you'll be drinking on Saturday because then you'll play for them because you just can't help yourself. And then Sunday they hope you're drinking again, and then Monday you're obligated to play. So it could be a big weekend if you're a Darius Rucker fan.
Monday's such a party, We've had such big names and big stars from Meatloaf and Late Antebellum, and just so many people I could mention that have come down and played that show, and it's just so star-studded every night, every Monday night. It's so many acts. We always say that if we tried to put this together, it'd cost us $1 million, but it's a fun show.
Yeah, Conrad, you would enjoy it. I mean, everybody. I mean, all of Darius's friends, number one, and the band gets together for their yearly reunion. The Hootie, I mean, and. But Darius has 4 or 5 other guys come out and play, and it's just a phenomenal night. And once again, food, booze, all night long, you know, and everybody's just hoping everybody's hoping that it never comes to an end.
It's a tough ticket.
Yeah, I know it is.
It's a lot of fun.
Are you kidding? Yeah, I walked across the patio last year, and I got off, and I left to go upstairs just to get a break because it gets so crowded, you know, and for me mostly it's always very nice, but sometimes there's somebody, you know, it's always that guy, right? So I just
always that guy. Absolutely.
I walk away from it. I don't. And that's nothing bad, nothing to me. But I mean, you know, they're pushing Melinda around. It's so crowded. It's crazy. But and everybody thinks that she's with me, and she never is. So that's not the case. She's my agent, as you know, Darius, and just a good friend. But
yes,
she walks around with her girlfriends, and everybody's, you know, up attacking them. So I walked across the patio to that little bar across from the House of Blues, and John Joyner, a friend of mine from Charlotte, was there. He offered me $500 for my credentials. I said, John, I couldn't give you my stuff. Because he couldn't get in. This guy's a multimillionaire, and he couldn't get in. He was so mad. I mean, it's like the Gestapo. You got to have armbands, wristbands, credentials. Conrad, it's ridiculous. It's like trying to get in Madison Square Garden. No, it's that cool. It's that high profile an event, and everybody there. I mean, I have no idea what kind of money you make on a silent auction, but Conrad, if you like sports memorabilia and all that, they've got everything at the silent auction. You'd be crazy, Conrad. Conrad, you would have to bring out the tin credit card.
So we've talked about this a lot. If you want to check it out, it's HootieGolf.com. And, of course, you can, you know, check out Darius, the biggest musical entertainer in the world, anytime at DariusRucker.com.
So, Darius, let me ask you a couple questions. We've talked about wrestling. How the transition, which I actually was part of because I made that video for you when you first moved over to the country western stuff, right? How did that come about?
I always been a country music fan. You know, when I was a kid, and when I got into college, I really got into country music big time. And when we started Hootie, I always said that someday if I ever got a chance, I was going to make a country record. And we toured pretty much every year for 20-something years. We were on the road. And one day we were sitting together, and one of the guys said, "Hey, man, I just don't want to tour every year anymore. You know, I'm going home and be with my family and try to do something." Because when we toured, It was like not coming home every week. It was you leave for 3 or 4 weeks before you see your family.
Like the wrestlers.
And so we were out there like wrestlers, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and so we'd be out. We decided we weren't going to do anything, and I decided it was time for me to make a country record. And I got really lucky. I have a great manager, Doc McGee, one of the legends, and he got me a record deal with Capitol Records, and they really believed in me and let me make my own record and do my own thing, and you know, we've had a little bit of success.
Oh, you've had more than a little bit. I'll tell you, it's amazing. I mean, I like country music now. It's funny, when I first moved down from Minnesota in the 70s, I didn't even know what country music was, right?
Yeah.
But if you move to Charlotte in 1974, you're going to hear some country music, right? So just naturally, I started liking it. You know, in the old days, with country music, it was, you know, always about somebody dying, the IRS, or divorce. So, but they picked up the tempo, right? So now, I mean, it's so popular now, it's ridiculous. I mean, the awards and all that stuff in Nashville. You just got an award last year, right?
I got a Grammy last year. That was nice to.
Yeah.
Anytime you win a Grammy, it's great. That was great. And you know, country music's come a long way. It's so many different things all wrapped into one. And like you said, it's so big now. I mean, you look at the numbers guys are doing. You look at that numbers Kenny and Jason Aldean and all those guys are doing in the big places. I mean, it's amazing how well country music's doing.
Yeah, I got to tell you a great story because I'm with Wendy, who you've met many times. She's in the studio listening. But I was waiting for you. I hadn't seen you yet, and we were on the sidelines of a South Carolina game. And who's the guy that came up, Wendy, you like so much? Billy Currington, right? And the guy was a big fan of mine. And I said, I don't even know who the guy is, right? She goes, oh, you know, well, here's Wendy. I got to have a picture with him, Rick. I got to have a picture, please, right? And I said, wait till Darius Rucker gets here, honey, okay? So then, I mean, let me see. And Billy Currington, wherever you are, I don't mean this bad, but let me see. I have got my hands. I'm holding them out like there's a weight in each one, and I'm going Billy Currington, whoop, Darius Rucker. Woo! Sorry, baby. He's got a long ways to go before he's Darius Rucker. But, I mean, it's amazing. Oh, God, you've achieved so much, and you are so beloved. When Stephanie McMahon told me that she was your big fan, because, Hunter is a hard rock. He's U2, and who was it? He just went to the funeral of the guy, Conrad Hunter went.
Lemmy from
Lemmy.
Yeah. He went to the
yeah.
funeral and spoke at the funeral. He loves that, but Stephanie is like I swear, your biggest fan. She loves you, and
cool.
I hadn't ever heard that before, and she didn't know that we were friends. So, I mean, I'm going to get a lot of points when I walk you in that door. I'm not. It'll say Vince's office. We'll knock on it. We'll just walk in. Hello, Vince, and hello, Stephanie. And by the way, it's not signed autographs today. You can get it tomorrow, okay?
So, Darius, what do you like currently? Are you watching any wrestling these days?
Yeah, I'm up on everything that's happening now. I thought the Triple H getting the belt was genius. I never saw it coming. I thought Roman was going to carry it for a while. But I thought that was genius. I'm watching, especially Raw. I watch Raw every week, and I try to catch up on SmackDown. And now when we get off this conversation, I'm going to go get the WWE Network online. So, I'm going to be up on everything.
What will be the first Ric Flair match you watch, do you think?
Oh, probably the first Ric Flair match I would watch is it's probably a Flair Rhodes match. Yeah. And the thing that I love to find and this is something I want. This is what I wish somebody on TV would do is all those great wrestling shows where you have those great promos. If somebody could find a way to start from X a date and start just running them and see all those great feuds that happen and all those great promos. I mean, Cowboy Bill Watson, Ernie Ladd, those Ernie Ladd promos.
The big
all
cat,
those great
man.
things you get to see. I love going on, online and just watch. I love trying to find the setup to the matches. You know what I mean? And hearing Dusty Rhodes and the superstar Billy Graham talk about wrestling in the Garden.
Yeah,
just great stuff like that.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. The big cat and I were really close. He was great. I traveled with Ernie a lot. I was such a fan of his when he was playing in the NFL and then, rather the AFL for not only the Chiefs but for the San Diego Chargers. I was a big fan. So when I got to meet him and we got along great. He was the kind of the big cat would say, he'd say, "You drive up and I'll drive back." So I would drive 300 miles and the big cat would go, "Okay, man, it's my turn." And we'd drive about 20 miles, and I didn't get it. It was a joke. He would go off the side of the road where it bumped the tires, the edges, right?
Yeah.
And I go, "You okay?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, I just, I go like, so now I can't even relax. I'm drinking beer." But he goes about 5 minutes more, and he pulls over. He hits the thing again, boom, boom. I go, "Okay, I get it." So I didn't realize he was with me. It was a rib. It was like, move over, kid, I'm driving. Actually, I move over, big cat, I'll drive. He'd be asleep in 5 minutes.
He got you. Genius. One thing I've always thought, and I know back in the 70s and the early 80s they couldn't do it because security would have security. I don't think you could have had security enough to make this work. But if it could have happened back in those times, if you could have had security they have today and had Ernie Ladd carry the title through the South and Southeast for about 6 months, the money they would have made, Rick, the money they would have made would have been unbelievable.
No,
they couldn't do it because of the security, but the money they would have made.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of his. I don't know what the deal happened with Ernie was kind of a drifter too. He liked to move from territory to territory. Does that make sense? And Ernie was a big star everywhere he went, and he ended up booking, for Bill Watts. But he had a big run up in New York. He had a big run in the Carolinas. He had a big run in Georgia. I mean, Ernie came
Oh, yeah,
over.
I remember him being in the Carolinas and Georgia like it was yesterday. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You, Dirty Rhodes, you egg-sucking dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and here's a guy, Conrad, here's a guy 6'9", 330 pounds. And, I mean, he could be playing right now. He was that good a player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was next to a guy named Earl Faison, a name out of the past. But that's Chargers, they had Bambi, Lance Allworth, and John Hadle was the quarterback. See, I should be a sports commentator, shouldn't I?
No, you should. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the Big Cat was one of the greats, man. I'm just a huge fan.
Yeah, he was.
But that would have been a hell of a run.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, they didn't do that back then. Who else would have been a hell of a run back then? Who you probably saw a lot of, but they were afraid of him was Thunderbolt. Jeez.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt would have been exact same thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with Thunderbolt being a world champion, even as great as he was, though, is it would have been at that point. It would have been hard to have the heel, have the African American babyface be a champion.
Exactly.
The heel would have been easy.
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
Exactly right. I'll tell you a great story you'll love. So, Thunderbolt didn't like to cut himself. So here's a Anderson story for you. So we're in Greenville, and they want Thunderbolt to get some color, right? And Gene goes, "I'll cut you. Don't worry about it. Hold still."
Oh, no.
28 stitches. 28 stitches. Because it's hard. I mean, I've cut some guys too, and you tell them to hold still. That's a natural reaction to move on something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Thunderbolt was so mad at what's he going to do to Gene Anderson, right? But he was bleeding like hell in Greenville. We're having a full-scale riot. Jesus Christ. It was so easy to get heat back then. I mean, God, the crowds would just come, and you're right. Security wasn't like it is now, right? Very rarely.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
Once in a while in Europe, we'll see a guy jump in the ring. It has happened in the last couple of years. But, I mean, in the old days, that guy had hit the ring, we'd see 2 a week for sure. Or somebody jumping on somebody on the way back to the locker room. So,
yeah.
Well, Darius,
but it's great now.
Who do you think's not in the Hall of Fame that deserves to be? There's a lot of talk that this will be the year the Fabulous Freebirds finally get their just due and they go in. Are you kind of campaigning for anybody, or is there anybody out there you'd really like to see that isn't already in already?
The Freebirds were somebody I thought of. Of course, Minnesota Record Group, like I said, But let's see who so they've been really good about putting guys in, and the thing that they've started to do that I like a lot of, they're good at putting AWA and NWA guys in too.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was something that I thought was not going to happen. I thought it was, and it's still kind of WWF heavy, but I think getting guys, I think Wooooo. There's so many guys. Blackjack just outside. Blackjack is a single wrestler.
Yeah, I know.
There's so many guys like that for me that I grew up watching that I think deserve to be Hall of Famers because I think they're all-time greats.
Yeah, well, Jack is in with Lanza as the Blackjacks, but I thought Mulligan should go as a single, and I thought in 2011 Darius and Arn Anderson should have gone in as a single in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
I mean, I love Bob Armstrong, but you can't compare the two in terms of, Bob was only in Georgia his whole career. You know what I mean? And I thought Arn should go as a single. And Michael Hayes, of course, should have gone in Atlanta. So hopefully it'll be Dallas. But bringing it, you just brought up an interesting name. Wahoo McDaniels should be in the Hall of Fame 5 times. My God.
Absolutely.
And he's from Texas.
Honestly, Rick, the reason I didn't say it before is because I'm thinking Wahoo's got to be in. But then I said his name, and I thought, Wahoo McDaniel. How can Wahoo McDaniel not be in the Hall of Fame?
I know, exactly. He's been dead now for 15 years. I mean, but what a career. Not only was he a crossover with the Jets, guess who, Wahoo, and they traded him the day they drafted Namath, but that's how big a star he was, right? You walk in his house, and here's a 20 by 30 frame picture of Wahoo, Mickey Mantle, Charlie Pride, and Lee Trevino holding their drivers out together. Does that make sense? Wahoo,
That's a picture right there.
yeah, Wahoo rolled with some heavy hitters, man. That he was like me. He was always a day late and a dollar short because he'd play golf with Lee Trevino for money. I don't think so, Chief. Yeah, probably not a good idea. Wahoo could gamble, man. I got news for you. Pete Rose and Michael Jordan got nothing on Wahoo. Different time frame, but Wahoo could gamble, boy. Jesus, he loved to play golf for money.
Yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame. He definitely should.
Yeah, and he's from Texas too, which is natural. But every time I throw something out there, they look at me like I'm smoking something, and I'm not. So I just kind of look at it for what it is and accept it. But having you come this time will be a huge, huge time for me and Conrad and Wendy and all the people. Bring your wife, for sure. Bring your wife with you. We'll have a great time. I'm booking it. As soon as we get off, I'm calling the office and booking it. Okay?
Absolutely.
Airfare paid for, everything. I'll guarantee you. They will love the fact you're coming. I'll get it all taken care of and get a hold of you next week because I'll be at Raw on Monday, and then I will get with Crono, the head of talent relations, and the travel people and get it all worked out, and I'll send it all to you, okay?
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hey, before we get off the phone, we got to talk about something very serious.
Okay.
I'm doing something you're not going to be proud of. You'll probably be ashamed of me. I'm switching camps now that the ball coach is gone. I'm going with Harbaugh in Michigan. I don't know what's going to happen with the Gamecocks. Jesus, what a year!
You leaving the Gamecocks? That's okay. When we win the national championship, we're not going to take you back.
No,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think that's going to happen with Muschamp, but maybe
it will. It Harbaugh either, fellas.
Land.
Huh?
So Harbaugh's going to win the national championship. I guarantee you, Harbaugh's going to win the national championship.
Well, here's the deal.
He's a great coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach, and he's a huge wrestling fan, and he puts me over all the time as being his favorite wrestler. So I'm going to Ann Arbor on Wednesday for National Signing Day for him. And I'm going to pick the numbers and sign all the stuff for him. It's all over the network now. So I talked to him last night. I said, well, now that the ball coach is gone, I guess I can move.
Yeah, you can leave us now. I understand that. And please tell Coach Harbaugh I said hello.
Oh, I will for sure.
You're friends from back in the day, so please tell him I said hey.
No, I will for sure. He's a great guy. I did that thing with the 49ers. And they almost killed me in Charlotte for it a couple of years ago, remember?
I remember that.
You kidding? Steve Smith burnt my robe he bought. I mean, what the hell? Don't they know that if Vince McMahon tells me to go out and do something with the 49ers, that you do what you're told?
I remember that, man.
Oh, my God, it was brutal. They were threatening to kill me and Melinda. Jesus.
Well, you were hated in 2 states, man.
I know. God. Well, listen, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come on today. I will be in touch.
No, thank you guys, man.
I will be in touch with you next week, and so much respect to you and your family, and so much respect for all the accomplishments in your career, Darius. And I will see you shortly, and I'll get back to you next week about coming to Mania, and Conrad will probably have to, get a date now because he won't feel right. He's an entrepreneur, if that's the appropriate word.
It's great talking to you guys. I'll talk to you later, Conrad.
Thanks,
so
Conrad.
Much,
Thank you very much, Darius.
So, Rick, we've had a lot of guests on the podcast, but I don't think a bigger star exists for Woo Nation than Darius Rucker.
I mean, you've just got to see this guy is huge, and what a great guy. And he I told you, he follows wrestling. He's been loving it from the time he was a kid. It's great, and he is a huge star.
Yeah, he's a huge star, and I knew, from reading Mike Mooneyham's columns in the past that he was a wrestling fan, but I had no idea that he was such an avid fan that, he goes to our friend Dick Bourne's Mid-Atlantic Gateway site and reads about all the old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he remembers all that stuff so vividly and kept up with so much of it and is so passionate. He's a real wrestling fan, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, he is, and a great guy, and we'll have such a great time with him out there in Dallas, We'll get him drunk. He'll sing somewhere.
Yeah, as long as I get one drunken wagon wheel, I think I can die happy. My life is complete.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Conrad, have a great weekend. I'll see you in Birmingham for Raw Monday.
Yes, sir, you will. I'll be there, and we're going to have another great Woo Nation next week.
I'm going to see you Sunday night, actually, so strap on your jetpack, okay? I've got 3 days off this weekend. And
my check liver light will be on by Monday morning.
Yeah, and Wendy is letting me rest up, so I'm ready to go. Woo!